Kia ora whanau, here's another Kings of War battle report. This one of the fifth and final game of a Halpi's Rift campaign that my buddy Vaughan and I played over the last approximately 6 months. So what is Halpi's Rift, you may be asking? Well, here are the Halpi Mountains in Penethor, and a magical rift opens in them. And if you're interested in finding out more about that, you can get this magical campaign supplement for Kings of War by Mantic, which details this. And so this book contains some background information on the Ratkin in particular, and a whole bunch of other special characters for the various races, and also this magical campaign where you have battles across these different planes. So a material plane, abyssal plane, Empyrean plane, ethereal plane, and astral plane. Each of them has extra special rules for terrain and magical effects, which basically just add even more chaos to a game of Kings of War. So there's some extra optional fun. You don't have to have it, but you can buy a copy of it, digital download, or probably still some physical copies left. And as I said, this is the fifth and final game in the Astral Plane. Vaughan and I have played across the other four. Here's some photos from those games. And these were quite closely fought between his Abyssals and my Riverguard, which is my first Trident Realm army, which is very amphibian based, as you can see. And looking back, these were quite close, and there were 3 draws and 1 win to the Abyssals. So this final game was 3,000 points, and I was using 4 units of Riverguard, 4 Total Swarms, 2 Depth Horror Hordes, 3 Kraken, using some old D&D Frog Hemoth models, Riverguard Dambuster Hordes with the Brew of Sharpness, a overtooled Thul Aquamage, using a little frog for that, who's clearly been trained by the Thul. And you'll notice that this mage has far too many spells, but I had a few points left over and wasn't really sure how I'd equip them, so he got a lot. And we have 2 Riverguard Sentinels, one on the Dambuster Frog, and lastly Ektar. And here's Vaughan's list, 3,000 points. He had an Abyssal Guard Regiment, 2 Succubi Regiments, Flamebearer Regiment, 2 Trips Gargoyles, 3 Monarch Hordes, 2 with Champions, a Regiment of Hellhounds, 2 Cronius, 2 Afrits, 1 with the Diadem of Dragonkind, 1 with Boots of Levitation, and 2 Warlocks with Firebolt and Drain Life, and an Archfiend of the Abyss. And he was using Wrath of Kings models, which suit the Abyssal theme quite well, and you'll see them shortly. And the scenario we were playing was Control. So that's where the board is divided into 6 squares, and you get 1 point for each square you control, and you control it by having more unit strength in that square than the opponent. And you get 2 points if you hold the opponent's central deployment square. So for the Abyssals, it's this here, this square is worth 2, and for my Riverguard, this square here is worth 2. So here is the deployment. Let me point out a few things. We have a Bard's Tap House here, so nothing within 6 inches of it can be wavered. There's a special effect there. The willow trees here, this is a Darkwood Forest, I believe. So range attacks at units in an extra -1 to hit. Blessed Forest, you get back a hit, a damage point each round you're in that. And in the center is an obelisk of destruction that we're representing with this thing. So anything within 6 inches of it gets the brutal +1 special rule. I.e., when you wrong route things, you add an extra 1 to it. So things become extra deadly around this thing. And my army here, we have from left to right, we've got the Dambusters, Dambuster Sentinel, the 2 hordes of Depth Horrors with the Depth Horror Eternal, Total Swarms, there's Tree Leaper Troop and Tree Leaper Troop, 2 of the Frog Hemoths, the Kraken, and there's another one off screen to the right. Ektar in the middle there, another Total Swarm, Riverguard Regiment, there's another one to the right, and Riverguard Sentinel. And here we have Gargoyles, Molochs, Cronius, another Cronius, Flame Bearers, Nefrit, Warlocks, 1 and 2, the Archfiend, Hellhounds, Succubi, and Abyssal Guards, more Gargoyles, another Nefrit. So, what is the plan here? And what are the relative strengths of these two lists? Well, the Abyssals, a lot of their units regenerate for a start, so if you're going to hit them, you've got to hit them hard and fast, whereas the only regenerating units I have are the 3 Kraken Froghemoths. The other thing is the Abyssal has some pretty devastating shooting through magic and firebolts and so on from the 2 Afrits, one there, the Flame Bearers and the 2 Warlocks, so I haven't got any shooting. But also my army is particularly vulnerable to shooting, so that's a bit of a concern. So somehow I got to close with them and try to avoid taking too much damage from the shooting, and then make sure I hit things really hard to take them off. Most fearsome things in the Abyssal army are these 3 Moloch hordes, I believe. Though everything is has its own strengths. These Hellhounds are also quite devastating if they get off a good charge. So, in my first turn, I push forward strongly on the left, hoping to overwhelm this and then swing around. This is all the dam busters racing down there. The 2 hordes of Depth Horrors and the Depth Horror Eternal just move forward to this hill, and the Aquamage there has cast Veil of Shadows on himself, so that ranged attacks at them will be at -1. These are hanging back in the forest here simply because of the magic from these things being quite devastating. And these also have they're 19 inches approximately away from this Afreet. The reason for that is an Afreet with Fireball 25, I believe. So rolling 25 dice to damage things. Plus those, but it only has 18-inch range, including his movement. So if we stay back here, theoretically we're safe, but of course this is the Astral Plane, where there's all sorts of magical effects that can happen, as I'll explain later. Anyway, also pushing forward reasonably strongly here, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I've got to close somehow. So and just along over the side here, hanging back here, there's quite a lot of strength that the Abyssals have there, so hanging back in cover. Alright, so the Abyssal turn, and you'll see at the back here Vaughn has made just some little data cards for his units to remind himself what they do. Good idea. And he moves forward pretty aggressively, pretty much everywhere except over on his left he's held back, and particularly the Abyssal Fiend, you'll notice, has just swung right down here and turned to face my line. Very aggressive move. And of course I have some frogs and things there which can flank it, but it's an Archfiend and doesn't really care about those. And this is a good time to mention the various special rules for the different planes. And so this one is a combination, and you get to use this channeling table for your army. You roll a number of dice equal to your spellcaster levels up to a maximum, I think maybe 3, or I'm not really sure, I have to check. But anyway, I've got 3 spellcaster levels, and so it's Vaughn, so we're rolling 3 dice and picking a result. And most of the, I'm using the Abyssal Plane one, I get a choice here. And most of these are quite destructive, so you're getting things like your unit gets Cloak of Death, or it gets Headstrong Fury, or it becomes Elite, or something like that. So it does extra, it's doing extra damage to things. That's the Abyssal table. And Vaughn, though, is using the channeling table from the Material Plane, and that grants some other abilities like extra speed, extra nerve, extra range. And so this turn, Vaughn chooses the extra range for his Efreet, who blasts off his fireball and does, what's that, 7 damage? 7 or 8 damage to my Depth Horrors, and combine with some more points from these Flame Bearers. So they're already on 9 damage, my Depth Horrors, at the end of that, from that shooting. Despite having the Veil of Shadows, which protects from the Flame Bearers, not from the spell, unfortunately. So my turn 2. I've got a big combo charge with all the Dam Busters here on the left into the Molochs, and we take them out. And with the aid of a channeling table result, which means I can give Elite or Vicious to a unit, which is what that token there represents in this instance. So they're gone. You can see the Hand of Death coming in to remove them. Yep. And over here, some big charges. I just decided to go for it. So Ektar swings across and charges into this. The Frog Swarm also comes in. Ektar does 4 damage, those frogs do nothing. And over here we both Froghemoths smash into those Monarchs. This Tree Leaper troop just jumps over this brutal obelisk, and these frogs charge in to just hold up the Hellhounds. So that's how it looks at that point. And the Riverguard Sentinel here comes jumping over this way, and that's just to give the inspiring order to these units within 6 inches of him. Decides we need to just get a move on here, so everything comes swinging forward this way. And I think my wizard that turn failed his spell casting. So here we do 9 damage to these Molochs, but they're okay, they're going to fight back. I think we may have actually wavered these Hellhounds, but they're going to attack anyway because they've got Fury. And Vaughn's second turn, all the shooting goes into the Depth Horror Eternal, 8 damage, but he survives. This Frog Swarm is taken out by these Molochs. Ektar takes 8 damage from the Archfiend and dies, so he's just gone. My turn 3. So as you can see, the charges go in here. Got the Depth Horror Channel into the Efreet, and the Depth Horrors into the Flame Bearers. Other Depth Horrors into these Molochs. The Wizard turns to face this Gargoyle troop, which could cause some problems coming down this way. And so this is where I've got all these spells. He has Icy Breath, so I'm hoping he gets lucky and takes them out. I've got a flank charge with the Tree Leaper troop into the Archfiend. Another flank charge with the Tree Leaper troop into these Molochs. Yet another flank charge with these Riverguard here. I think Vaughan saw this one, just quite a long way away into the flank of these Hellhounds, together with the Riverguard Sentinel. So that's what it looks like in the centre. And over here, the Cronius had charged in, so I get a flank charge on that as well, together with the Kraken. So how does this go? Well, first of all, the Mage gets lucky with his Icy Breath and actually does 2 damage, then rolls a 9 and kills the Gargoyle troop. Here, against the Archfiend, the Tree Leaper troops do extraordinarily well and kill up to 8 damage, so 12 damage, and the Archfiend is taken out. In the centre, the Molochs are taken out by this lot, and over here we do nothing. We just do a couple damage points to the Cronius and it lives. And the Hellhounds are killed there, and Yeah. So that's how that looks at the end there. The flame bearers have wavered. The Efreet is killed by the Depth Thrower Eternal over in the background. And this is how my turn ends, with the facings of my various units, I believe. Yes. So these Trident troops just turn, and these frogs go backwards. So here is turn 3 for the Abyssals. And as you can see over on the right, that starts off with a double flank charge here against my units, which had failed against the Cronius. So not so surprising with these flank charges and the Cronius helping out. Both those units are gone, and so the Abyssals have won this flank. And over on the other flank, the Abyssals countercharge and take out one of my Depth Horror hordes, and then it is on to turn 4. So this is how it's looking at the start of my turn 4. So with my moves in turn 4, what happens? Well, we swing that Riverguard troop around and kill one of the Warlocks. This charges in here and does a few points of damage. The Depth Horrors finish off the Flame Bearers and turn to face the Monarchs. And the Dambusters come to the central sector, ready to threaten and help out as needed. The other thing that happens this turn is my Riverguard Sentinel leaps over and kills the remaining Efreet, with his duelist ability being very handy there. So, Abyssal, turn 4. What happens? The Monarchs charge into the Depth Horrors, but do little. This Cronius comes down and kills that swarm. I think that Riverguard troop gets finished off. Yep. So this is how it looks at the end of the Abyssal turn. Start of my turn 5, I charge into the side and finish off these Monarchs. These Dambusters use their sticky tongue attack against this Cronius and do no damage, but drag him this way a little bit. I don't think we've very rarely do anything useful with the sticky tongue. I think all that did was drag the Cronius into range and being able to charge some of my units, so that's not very helpful. The Dambuster comes over the hill into the Cronius here, and the Froghemoth had a flank charge into the side of these Succubi and finishes them off. The Riverguard Dambuster Sentinel, just the Riverguard Sentinel, he's actually gone into these woods here, hoping to hunt down these gargoyles. These gargoyles, of course, are just hanging back, trying to work out where to go to grab points near the end of the game for controlling a sector. And this Succubi unit is just holding this sector, and the Cronius is coming across as best it can. So yes, no surprise there, that unit was gone. And that's how it looks at the end of my turn. So the last couple of turns, what happens? Well, there's a face-off between these two units, so little happens there. There's a drawn combat between the Sentinel and the Gargoyles, and a battle here between the Froghemoth and the Succubi. It's inconclusive, and that was the end of the game. And you can see the positions there. It didn't go to turn 7. So when we look at who controls what, the Abyssals have this sector. This one's contested because there's a Dambuster and the Gargoyles. This central sector, this Riverguard troop has it. This one, the Depth Thrower Eternal has it. This has kept the Depth Horrors out of this sector. And this one here is held by the River Guard. So the points then are 1, 2, 3 to the River Guard and 1 point to the Abyssals. So a River Guard victory, which means the campaign was 3 draws and a win each. We'll just finish with this shot of the final combats where I managed to just hold on here with the Froghemoth and Dambusters successfully contesting or holding this sector here against this Abyssal Guard regiment. So over the course of this campaign I definitely learned to use my River Guard army better and mitigate its weaknesses, as did Vaughan with his Abyssals over the course of the campaign, and I think we both had a lot of fun with all the new units gradually appearing as we went through the campaign, culminating in this last big game, and also all the magical effects which make things somewhat less predictable. As they say, it's not particularly balanced perhaps. I don't know, it seems balanced enough really. It's just really random and chaotic. It's a lot of fun, and recommend that you give it a go if you like that sort of thing. Thank you.